But fair or foul,
Yeah.
starting Jaxson Dart week 4, is this the right move?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I know last week we were talking about like, let's see how the Chiefs game goes. If it was competitive, then keep Russ in. And then we were thinking 4 or 5 if the Giants continue to lose, and especially going against the Chargers this upcoming weekend, we're kind of figuring that's also going to be a loss. So the idea was, hey, maybe we put in Dart when we go to New Orleans in 2 weeks. That is our most winnable game on the schedule in the foreseeable future. But I mean, Russ, 2 picks on the day, 18 for 32, 160 yards. But stats aside, if you watch the game, like I unfortunately did, staying up late for it, uh, it was, I'll say, 25% play calling, 75% game management by Russ himself. And to be in a red zone and to have guys in the end zone and to see him throw away not one but 2 passes straight over guys' heads. He's airing the ball out there. He's underthrowing guys, which is what's leading to the pick. So, at some point you've got to look and understand that although we're 3 games in and he had a decent game against Dallas, this is where I kind of go back and I look at Russ in Denver and knowing the ups and downs he had there. And then his last couple of years in Seattle too. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback right now. Take nothing away from his Super Bowl championships and, the fact that, he's the Hall of Very Good quarterback, dare I say, damn near Hall of Fame. But I think it's just time. And honestly, the Giants front office signing 3 quarterbacks and drafting one within a matter of 2 months this past year kind of led into this whole controversy of who are we going to start. Great, we started the highest paid one, but now it's time to see what the young buck can do. He looks good in camp. He looks good in preseason. Let's see how he manages the Chargers this weekend and grow him. I think it's time for the Giants to effectively grow a quarterback, something they tried to do with Daniel Jones and it didn't work. But I think Jaxson Dart is that guy, and we'll see. And hopefully, Russ takes on that more mentorship role and kind of teaching him the ins and outs. And here's what I love about Jaxson Dart too. Anytime, and there's been tons of talk of starting him, but he was on the sidelines last week, the week before, helmet on. He's listening to the comms. He's going through the motion. You can see it mentally. He's ready to get out there. And now it's proving ground. So we'll see. And look, and if this doesn't work out, put in Jameis. We have fool's gold of quarterbacks at this point. So let's try them all. But I think it was definitely time to sit Russ. You can't always go with the veteran. You can't always go with your highest paid guy if he's just not getting the job done. And this past week proved it. And not for nothing, it's the Chiefs' first win. It wasn't that they won. I think it was how they won, because for the first quarter, we were incredibly competitive. The rails didn't officially come off, I'll say, until the third. But, overall, the offense was continuing to struggle. And I think a lot of it was just Russ's decision-making.
Starting Jaxson Dart is not a bold move to me. It doesn't, like, benching Russell Wilson is the easy thing to do if you're New York. To me, it's the equivalent of, let's give our keys to our toddlers and saying, hey, don't worry, that steering wheel is for decoration. Starting Jaxson Dart isn't going to fix the Giants' problems, which is why it's foul. It's not the right move, because what you're trying to do, this isn't about Jaxson Dart's potential. I think everybody knows he has a great arm. Everybody knows he's athletic. He was great in the preseason. He lit it up like a Christmas tree in the Hallmark movie. But then you have to think of the college stuff. And it's like, okay, am I going to take a large sample size in college where he posted not so great numbers, like one of the worst graded quarterbacks coming out of college, versus a few snaps in preseason, a few games in preseason, a few series in preseason where he looked like, Patrick Mahomes damn near. And that's what, like, again, this is this idea of theoretical Jaxson Dart. That's who we're hoping we're getting. Never mind the fact that the offensive line is terrible still. They don't have anything else besides Malik Neighbors. And you're not just giving this guy the keys. You're giving it to a rookie who has some serious issues, and that even though the offense was catered to him down at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, he still wasn't that great. And think about this. You guys just had Daniel Jones, who didn't win a lot of games in New York. And now he's over in a year removed, a stop in what, Minnesota, never played. He just suited up and attended some meetings in Minnesota.
Suited up for a playoff game, and then
like he didn't play, he didn't do anything there. So I can't imagine there's some magical water in Minnesota that makes you a really good quarterback. And now he's 3-0 in Indianapolis, one of the best teams in the league. Statistically, the best quarterback in the league through 3 weeks. I mean, in terms of all the little metrics and advanced analytics they want to throw out there. But, this obviously isn't that. Like, if you want to talk about humble pie for the Giants, it's not a coincidence that Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, players who had issues in New York, went somewhere else and had massive success. That's a situation.
Well, the Giants wouldn't pay Saquon what he was worth. So let's not say that there were issues that, well, the only issue is they didn't want to commit to him, which, in all honesty, even if we paid him and he stayed, I still don't think he would have had the same success, obviously, from a Super Bowl standpoint, but even the numbers he put up last year, too. Philly just had a better built O-line as well as overall offense for him to flourish. But that's a story for another time. However, I agree with you. It's not going to fix all of our problems, but it's fair because it's the right thing to do at this point, particularly for our fan base that is dying for a change because we're tired of seeing the same old story. So let the kid play and see what we get. But to your point about having his struggles in college and looking back, I mean, need I remind you of the Johnny Manziels and the Matt Leinerts and the Ryan Leafs of the world who do great from a college standpoint, then step foot in the NFL and do nada? So I do think there are some cases, obviously, we look at that there's going to be a translation there from college to NFL. And then there are some where it looks like it'll fit and it won't. Programs that of, an Ole Miss, why not? But Daniel Jones coming out of Duke, I can see how the translation might not be there. But for me, the sample size is once you're in the NFL. I don't give a shit about college anymore. I don't. Great. Go to the College Football Hall of Fame if you want, but now you're in the big leagues. You're in the NFL. So if you can play here, if you can start up something good, especially with a New York team that is struggling, why not? Now, I think we've both mentioned this before. You just said it. He's not going to fix everything. And with the O-line problems that we have had season in and season out, it's not going to work. He's going to have maybe 3 seconds to throw the ball if he's lucky. I think a change is needed just to see if it jolts anything. But at the end of the season, this, we've talked about it before. Joel Schoen and Ryan Dable, this is their sell season, plain and simple. They have to have success. Otherwise, both of them, they need to be gone.
Yeah, they also need to find a way to give Malik Neighbors the ball more than twice a game.
Yeah. He's getting super pissed.
And I don't blame him. It feels like the Giants are doubling down on a problem that they created. And now they're sacrificing Jaxson Dart in a desperate attempt to show that they're doing something, right? Because like you said, this is Dable and Shine's last chance. They're chasing a spark, but this could be the fire that kind of burns everything down for them, because it's one thing for Saquon to leave because you can hide behind the contract dispute. And I get that. To see Daniel Jones be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
It's painful. It's fucking painful. Yeah.
The Maras, it's got to be driving them nuts right now. And I think honestly, I think the Cowboy game bought Russ an extra week. They probably should have started Dart after week 1. Unless Russ came in and looked amazing, even in a loss. If he had that Cowboy game in week 1, maybe we wouldn't be talking about it. But it's just, they need to do something. And you're right, they're going to do it. But I would be cautious. It's not really worth, because if you mess this kid up, you're back to square one. And it's instead of just waiting. If you really believe in the kid, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't fully believe in him, and it doesn't really matter if you start him now or not. But
yeah, I don't think they're thinking generational quarterback, but who knows? We've been surprised before. But we can go back to Jesus, 2 years ago, the decision to play Tommy DeVito and win pointless games towards the end of the season, which knocked us out of a draft spot to potentially get Jaden Daniels and that whole decision making. So, like, you look at back of all these little intricacies and what we could have done better, but hindsight's 2020. And forgive the, terrible, terrible expression in this situation, but I don't want a Monday morning quarterback this thing. We just have to focus on the future.
That's very well done by you. The Monday morning quarterback stuff. You deserve.
Thank you.
No, not that one. She said,
I'll take it.
oh, no, hold on. Is it gone? Nope, it's right here. Found it.
Kind of like the Law and Order better.
Law and Order is better.